everybody unanimously figured I was hot. I don't know if I really look all that much, but this is a guy judging himself, a guy. So I'm not necessarily going to think that a guy is going to be attracted to me myself. So I go in, I greet everybody, I give my best friend a hug, give Mary a hug, I give my girlfriend Sarah a hug. And then there's another gentleman there. He also goes in for a hug. I stick my hand out because I just came from work at this time, so I feeling kind of dirty. I'm a technician, so I work under cars all day. I was feeling kind of dirty, so I stick my hand out, and I'm like, he was like, "Oh, no hug," and I was like, "Oh, sorry, I'm feeling kind of dirty." Now I know, you're gonna. I know some people will be like, "Wait, did you just hug your girlfriend and your friend?" I guess I can't really give them a handshake. My girlfriend might feel a little. I guess my girlfriend would much prefer me to give her a hug, and I don't think I've ever given my best friend, who's also a woman, a handshake before. I don't know, giving women handshakes. I don't know, or firm handshakes. I don't know. I'm a little different with women. Maybe I'll just gently hold their hand, pat it a little bit. It's like, "Oh, hello, ma'am. How are you doing today?" Or give them a hug, but I never give them a firm handshake. I gave the gentleman a full handshake. He was coming for a hug. I don't know. I didn't know what to think. Anyway, so we go in. The first thing we do, we go to one of the, the stores. And we go to one of the stores, and I'm just trying to take in the whole scenery, kind of get a bearing with my surroundings. And whilst getting a bearing of my surroundings, I see a lady dressed as, Raven from the Teen Titans. And I'm like, "Oh, that's a nice uniform." But then, as I'm, observing the uniform, I see, the side of her butt cheek. And that my girlfriend's, right beside me. So me seeing another woman's butt cheek, my girlfriend being beside me, made me a little bit nervous. Because then I didn't want her to feel jealous or anything. I didn't know how she was going to feel about it. So I tried to look away. So then, we go on about our business, and so I just keep seeing boobs everywhere. It's mostly boobs, not as much, booty cheeks. Just lots of boobs everywhere. Half the women there were dressed scantily clad. I'm seeing everybody's boobs. There are lewd pictures. Of course, the anime lewd pictures. They'll have anime girls just about naked. You see under boob, and then they have very low fitting pants or booty shorts. Something along those lines. And I'm just looking at all of this, and I look over at my girlfriend. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is a trap, isn't it?" Now, with the pictures, I guess I can easily get over that. It's just anime women. But then, I look around, and I see, a bunch of actual women with their boobs, halfway hanging out. At least half of them. And then, so I keep walking around, I see one woman's boobs hanging out. I swear to goodness, that I literally saw one woman's full butt cheek, whole booty cheeks. She was wearing nothing, her thong was swallowed, or not her thong, but she was wearing a leotard. But the bottom half of her leotard, or everything below the waist, swallowed by her butt. Everything. So I saw this woman's full butt cheek, and I'm her butt cheeks, and I'm like, "Oh, crap." And I still have my girlfriend right beside me. Alright, now, after this, we go into one of the panels, a yaoi panel was the first one. Basically, it's anime porn centered around males. So, you'll see, half-naked men, or full-naked men. So we go to one of these yaoi panels, go in, one of the hostesses, or I guess the assistant hostess, was dressed in, a very tight-fitting leotard, see like the leg parts. It covered the whole leg, but that was see through. So I was seeing her butt cheeks. Not only that, I saw her boobs as well. My girlfriend is sitting right beside me. She noticed that I noticed her. I'm like, crap. That, and you know, she saw me notice her, and I'm like, F, dag nabbit. And you know, I'm trying not to look at this lady, but I have this thing where I'm attracted to movement. So since she's the assistant, she's moving around. So I try to look away from her. I see movement, and I'm like, oh, what's that? And then I see her, and I'm like, crap. So I look at her at least 5 times, and I'm just, oh gosh, my girlfriend's right beside me, and I'm just like, oh shoot. And she did bring up the fact that it's not really a fact. She did mention that, like, oh, I need to look prettier, and I'm like, no, you look fine. I'm just attracted to movement. I just like, I look at movement, and she's moving around. She's also half dressed. You know, I can't, and she just so happened to be there, and she was like, oh, okay, well, it's fine. I just know I need to look better, and I'm like, no, you look fine. In my head, I'm like, I effed up. I effed up big time. So the panel continues, right? And it starts out, I guess it was a simple game that did like a King of the Hill style thing, how the woman described it. There'd be a quote, or the first round, there would be a quote. Somebody tried to identify the person who said the quote. And, you know, after that, she switched the other slide with the answer, and surprise, surprise, and with like the answer, so like the guy's name, the anime guy's name, with a picture of him halfway dressed. And so I'm sitting here looking at all these half-dressed anime gentlemen, you know, just thinking, am I gay now? Like, does this make me gay? I literally saw at least 10 half-naked guys. One of them, swear to goodness, had like this near top-down. It was like sort of like a 3/4 view, but like from the top down. You know, I'm seeing like this guy's full body, and he's holding his penis, holding his cock, and I'm just like, oh, this makes me gay. And this thing, like, I'll give the anime gentleman, I forgot his name, but I'll give him credit. His penis was like 2 of his hands, like the 2 of it, like he was grabbing it. He could have grabbed it with both of his hands, and you still could have saw the tip of his cock. Like, he was well endowed. I'll give that man that much. You know, good for him. You know, good for him. But I'm sitting here looking at it, and I'm like, oh, this makes me gay, does it? I'm pretty sure this makes me gay. I think I'm gay now. And you know, it keeps going, and yeah, that was about it for that panel. We finally leave. I think we went off to a concert, enjoyed that. You know, there was a lady, I think she was straight from Japan. She played some Japanese rock songs. And then after that, everybody yelled encore, encore. And you know, she played Don't Stop Believing by Journey for the encore, because I know for a fact that they knew that every American likes that song. They were over there like they said this in Japanese. They're like, oh, what song do we play for encore in case they play encore? And they were like, we played this. Don't Stop Believing. And they were right. Everybody loved it. Everybody was singing along. They had it right on, nail on the head. Bam. Because just every American that I know knows the song Don't Stop Believing. Even people that doesn't like rock music, they know that song. So, you know, after the concert, we go off, we grab something to eat. And then we come back, and I gotta go to the bathroom like real bad. Like, I don't know, maybe it was something in the burgers or something like that. I have no idea. I just had to go to the bathroom. So I go over to the bathroom. I do the numero dos, you know, do the number 2. And whilst I am taking a crap, I hear at least 5 women storm into the men's restroom. They're just saying, hey, women are here, men, girls are in here. And I'm like, I'm just sitting here trying to take a crap in peace, and I'm like, what the actual crap, right? And they're like, oh, and they're just like, oh, you know what? They just start chanting, you know what? F genders, we're men too. And they just chant that over and over and over again. I'm just like, what the actual F? They're like, yes, F genders, we're men too. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm really listening to this. I'm trying to take a crap. And they're chanting, we're men too, F genders. And then I hear some of these women, they're saying like some stuff that I would only expect men to say. Like, they were like, oh my god, I gotta take a big shit. And I'm like, did I really just hear that from a woman? I really just heard that from her. It's like, hold up, let me finish taking a shit first. Oh my gosh. Oh, I gotta take a shit so bad. Oh, it's so much. And I'm like, oh my lord. I'm just trying to take a shit. I'm not announcing it to anybody. And I'm just like, so I'm just sitting there on the toilet listening to these women talk like men, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on? These women really stormed into the bathroom and just used the men. They took over the men's restroom. Like, can't no men. Like, I understand. They just took over it. Like, I mean, I guess I understand they might want to be loud so men will know that women are in there, but at the same time, how is a guy going to not know that a woman is in the men's restroom when they see you? Like, they're gonna be like, oh crap. They'll probably see a woman, be like, oh crap, wrong restroom, step out, check, just like, oh, this is the men's restroom, step back in, and still see the women in there taking their big shits. So after I'm done with that, I go back outside. I think they go into another panel. I'm about ready to go. It's at this time, it's almost 11 o'clock or something. I think it's like 10:30, 10:45. It's getting close to 11 o'clock, and I'm like, I gotta go. But, you know, my best friend and, you know, she had another friend over there too. They took pictures because they dressed up as people from Persona 5. So they took pictures together. Some other people came up and took pictures with them. And then the last person she took a picture with, you know, he came up and was like, oh, as part of the course, you should ask. They ask if they can take a picture with you. And Mary was like, oh, yes, of course you can take a picture with me. So, you know, she goes over, takes a picture with him. And then, you know, he's like, oh, can I get one more picture, but with you whipping me with your whip? Because the person she dressed up as, she wears like a tight red suit and she wields a whip. So, and she's like, oh, okay. So, you know, they get ready to pose. Mary gets ready. She starts, the gentleman bends over and she was like, okay, I'll go with it. She starts whipping his butt. And then he stands right back up before the picture can be taken, and he's like, oh yeah, I just wanted that for my personal pleasure, and walks off. So this man just had his sexual fantasies exercised right in front of me, and admittedly, he played it off pretty smooth. I'll give him that much. But yeah, that was my experience at an anime convention. If you like this video, please let me know. Give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, tell me how much you didn't like it. Because you know what? Maybe you didn't. Maybe you thought it was trash, bro. And I should, you know, just tell me, hey, bro, your crap's trash. Anyway, thank you for listening, and until next time.